Hi, welcome to Rachel and Co. So this is episode number 6, and I'm here with Adam, who is the owner of the studio that I am currently in. We have a great Q&A session. So he's going to be asking me lots of questions that he's been thinking about to do with like different dynamics with people, personalities, parenting, that sort of stuff. So it's a very, very interesting conversation. So I hope you can learn a lot. So yeah, enjoy. Hi, this is Adam, and he is the owner of Native Space. So this is where we are right now, the podcast studio, the office that I work out of, everything. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being a good member.
Yeah, no, thank you. And thank you for coming on. It's been a long time coming.
Yep.
Leah got me into doing the podcast, but you were also part of that process of making this happen. So
Yep.
finally got you on.
Yep. Thanks for you must be scraping the barrel of guests, but thanks for
You wanted to come on.
Did I? Oh, yeah, I did.
so.
I did. It was my idea.
You've got a whole list of questions.
I do have
there.
a lot. Well, I've got some conversation starters.
Okay.
When I lived in the US,
Mm-hmm.
I went to see a couple of shows by Darren Brown,
Mm-hmm.
the psychological illusionist.
Yeah.
And at one of his shows, he started with a monologue. And one of the first things he said was, we are all just a collection of the stories that our parents told us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that quite a lot
Okay.
because it's kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
But I think how much junk comes along with those stories.
Yeah.
Because that is pretty much our entire makeup, because we are hearing that stuff before we get to reason anything ourselves. Discuss.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything, like all of the expectations we have on ourselves, of other people, our whole like worldview, it's all based off of what our parents have, or caregivers, or whoever's been around as teachers, friends, other relatives. What they've told us is the world and how we interact with it and how we've experienced it. But a lot of like I should be this way, or this is how I should interact with this thing, it's quite often because of opinions that someone else has given you.
Yeah.
So then as you grow, it's trying to unpick all of that. Some of them you might agree with and keep, but others you might be like, why do I do that? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, in a lot of ways, I think that's probably quite a simplistic way of saying.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. And people don't have the confidence to start to unpick things, right?
Mm-hmm.
For quite a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite a long time to live with, I guess, thinking a way that you didn't decide to about many things.
Mm-hmm.
So what sort of triggers are there? Like when do you get to that point where you naturally start to think, or what are the triggers for starting to question some of that stuff?
I think it's different for everyone. Some people never. Some people very early. I think it depends on like what happens in your life that will make it very clear that you need to question something.
Yeah.
It's like some people it might be that, I don't know, like their first heartbreak, for example.
Yeah.
They've been in love and they're like, oh, we're going to be together forever. And then it gets to a point where they break up with you and you're like, oh. But that's like maybe the first time that like that very straightforward plan has been stopped. So then you're like, okay, now I need to question him because I thought that he was going to be with me forever and he isn't. So I need to question myself and my judgment. Well, what does that mean for everything else? And also I think when you start to see your parents as flawed human beings, that can also be a time. Because it's like, oh, well, if you can get things wrong, then what about all the things that you've ever told me? Are they
Yeah.
wrong?
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of different things, I think. Going to work, going to uni, having any independence,
Yeah.
lots of different things. Is there anything that's made you, when did you start questioning that stuff?
Probably not for a long time. You know, probably for quite a while. But then I don't think I had any triggers. I don't think I had any reason to, not significant reasons to think, to question any of it. So I don't know whether that's a good thing though. Probably not. I don't know. I'm assuming it's better that somebody puts themselves in environments where they can be challenged, do a little bit more critical thinking, as opposed to just thinking, well, this is the way I think the world is, and I've got no reason to listen to anything else.
Yeah.
So-
But also maybe sometimes it depends on how you've been parented too.
Yeah.
It's like if you've grown up with parents that just want you to conform,
Yeah.
then you're probably less likely to think critically. But
Yeah.
if like you've got one or two parents that are like question everything,
Yeah.
then you're also going to
Always.
be more likely to be
Yeah.
like that. So it doesn't need to be a traumatic experience or a hard experience for you to start to question. It's just that's just been built in.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I think, like I said earlier, you start to pick these things up before you can do any reasoning about why something is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you undo something like that if it's a learned behavior that you've picked up so early that you couldn't even rationalize it then? How do you begin to unpick that?
It's a lot of the work that I do.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of
It's a
time.
good question, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes, like, you can't always pinpoint the exact reason or the exact moment or memory, whatever. Sometimes it's just knowing, okay, well, I know that my parents are that way, so I probably learnt that from them. Or you might have like a general feeling of, I think I felt like this growing up or whatever.
Yeah.
Or even just being able to recognise this is what I do, and I'm pretty sure my parents also do that. So I've probably got it from them.
Yeah.
Just having that awareness of, this is what I do, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Just having that awareness of what that is
Yeah.
enough to then start the ball rolling
Yeah.
on changing it.
Start
Takes
to-
time, but
Yeah. So one of the questions I got written down, which I think is also interesting, is when you have the intellectual ability to question your own behavior, why is that sometimes just not enough to be able to make a change?
because there's a lot of avoidance that can come into that.
Right.
So, you know, when people say, oh, you're just intellectualizing it,
Yeah.
that's what that is.
Right.
So you can understand and you can intellectualize, you like you can see everything,
Yeah.
but then you're keeping it there. And
Yeah.
you're not feeling it.
Right.
So you're like, okay, yeah, but also I don't want to change anything because it means that I've got to go to a certain place, or I've got to let go of something, or
Right.
I've got to, there's something I need to do feelings wise,
Yeah.
emotions wise, that actually I don't want to touch.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
So that's,
So you can justify just being able to understand it, but not
yeah.
have it get any nearer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
So it's getting to a point where you accept that you need to feel it and
Yeah.
kind of soften to it to then, so it's when you're ready.
Yeah. To be able to actually deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And do you think that this is similar to people's ability to carry stress but not feel it? Because people do that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's quite a common thing.
Yeah. Some people's baseline of stress can be quite high
Yeah.
and they're just used to that. Same with like anxiety or whatever.
Right.
So they're just used to functioning at a certain point without realizing just how much stress that they're under until they're body is physically telling them. So that's when it can be as extreme as like having a stroke, for example, or
Right.
other kind of stuff that can come from stress. I'm not saying that strokes are just from stress, but
No,
it can be.
some physiological
caused by-
reaction.
And like you see it with burnout all the time, like people get really sick or like just physically exhausted when their body just can't do it.
Yeah.
So it's not because, so they've had probably a very extended period of time where they felt they've been doing everything, they've been going through a lot of different things, and then their body's just physically been like, we need to stop now because we can't handle much more.
Yeah.
But you've not processed that in the lead up to that. It's like, well, we've got to keep going, we've got to keep going. I'm
Yeah.
not stressed, it's fine. You're just suppressing and pushing
Yeah.
it back.
Because some people can only function in that state, right? Like if they're not stressed, they're not working hard enough. They can kind of see it the opposite way.
Well, they think that they can't function without
Right.
stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have that belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because they think that they'll have a lot of kind of internal statements to themselves that if I sit down and do nothing,
Yeah.
then this is a waste of time
Right.
and I'm not being productive and all that sort of stuff. So then that stresses them out. Whereas if they let that go, then they could relax, then they'd be able to go between pressure and calm.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're running away from the anxiety, keeping stressed and busy,
Yeah.
and then it just burns them out.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Do you see a lot of that in the work that you do and the people that you've worked with previously?
What stress stuff?
That kind of like high level stress.
No, I would have said no.
Okay.
I would have said the people that really were stressed were just extreme characters to be around, outliers. Just couldn't work with them or, be around them or be in their team or anything like that because they'd just be always. You just sense they were just going to explode at any point,
Okay.
and obviously that's quite miserable
Mm.
day in day out.
Yeah.
So, but I do get that there's a lot of people that do function like that, or as you say, believe they need to exhibit that sort of behavior to be able to perform how they think they want to perform. So I think there is a lot of that, but I guess I've been quite fortunate that hasn't been too many of those. But I've always been a software engineer, and that's quite that's kind of a methodical sit down, concentrate on something for long periods of time. It's quite difficult to be,
That intense.
yeah. It can get pretty stressful when, I guess that's quite a good juxtaposition, contradiction. I don't know. If you are used to requiring long periods of time to concentrate on something, but then there's a deadline,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't think any quicker, really.
Mm-hmm.
You can make peripheral changes to something to try and get something finished by the deadline. That's a lot of friction.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely feels quite stressful. But I guess I'm thankful that I haven't really been around people that are just crazy, and just
Okay.
on the verge all the time of
Yeah.
blowing up over something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that because you feel like do you respond to that? How do you respond to that? If you've got someone like that working with you, how do you respond to that?
I just quit.
Nah,
Yeah.
enough of that.
Yeah. Well,
How does it make you feel, I guess?
don't know if I can give a good answer because it was just so there are other types of characters that do make me feel more stressed than that character being a stressful person.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few more instances of people that maybe aren't stressed enough, maybe don't care enough.
Too laid back.
Yeah, not in the detail enough. That's stressful.
Yeah.
So there's probably been more of that.
Mm-hmm. Lots of different personality types.
Yeah. Talking of personality types, though, this is also interesting because there are just so many types of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it might be a stupid thing to say, but I don't know if I like a lot of types of people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think I'm quite empathetic to why people are a certain way, which helps, helps
Yeah.
me get close. But like if you're trying to make friends, you sort of gravitate towards people that are like you, right? You think, oh, that's my kind of person, and it's easy to get on with them.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it true that when you want to be in a relationship, opposites are better?
If better is the right word.
It might not be the right
You're
word,
attracted to.
yeah.
Yeah.
So why is that? Because you're
There's
ticking a different
multiple
box.
reasons. I think it depends on what kind of personality traits you're looking at. So, like, if you're looking at like anxious and avoidant people,
Yeah,
then it's that push pull.
yeah,
Like the trace of whoever it is, and
Yeah.
sometimes that can be on either side.
yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah,
the avoidant likes to feel, or likes the trace, but once they feel like they've got that person, and then the person takes notice, and they're like, oh.
right.
But then the anxious person, like, really wants to get the other. I mean, they're anxious the whole time, obviously, but
Yeah,
they attract each other, and
Yeah.
it's not a healthy one, but it can be healthy.
Yeah.
if you work on it, but also.
but you've heard it said that like it's good. You should argue sometimes.
Arguments aren't bad.
Yeah,
It's how you resolve the conflict.
yeah. Are you suspicious of people that refer to their partner as their best friend?
No, because you can still argue with your best friend.
Right. So that in itself is not too much of a
No,
red
I
flag.
don't think so.
Okay.
I think you should be friends with your
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah.
Why do you not think so?
I mean, these are just some of the. I think these are just some of the things that anecdotally have been said about relationships.
Okay.
Um.
Because if they're not your friend,
Yeah.
then what is your relationship like?
Well, very
is
good
it-
question.
is
There are
it-
obviously seasons to it as well. So.
Yeah. But like, if they're not, because like when you think of what a friend is,
Yeah.
it's someone that you can confide in and you're close to, and
Yeah.
you want to spend time with. And
Yeah.
obviously, then a relationship is, I feel like it's a best friend plus all the romantic side of things.
Yeah.
So it's like a mix of everything.
Yeah.
And they're meant to be like the closest person to you.
Yeah.
So if they're not your best friend,
But you're also supposed to challenge each other,
yeah, you
push
can
each
do that
other in
as a
certain
friend, surely.
ways. Yeah, but less so.
Do you think?
Maybe.
I think you can have
Maybe.
different types of friends.
Yeah. I mean, for example, if you were my friend,
If
and I just say, oh, I'm going to, I'm thinking about applying for this job, and it's not really, you're like, it's not really, it doesn't really sound like you, but, not every friend is going to say, why are you doing that? You can do better than that, But a lot of friends will just go, oh, great. I'll see you doing that. That's good. That'd be lovely. So you sort of get that.
But I think it also depends on what you want as a person, as the people close to you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want a bunch of friends that are just yes people.
Right.
I want friends that will challenge me and
Yeah.
call me out if
Yeah.
I need calling out.
Yeah.
The same with my partner.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to be questioned. So, yeah, they only want yes people around them. But that's
Yeah.
got nothing to do, I don't think, with your partner challenging you.
Right.
Or your friends challenging you. I think
Okay.
that's just your own personality type.
Yeah. Going back to the stuff about what your parents give you, how often do you see it being grandparents how often do you see sort of generational I'm not going to call it trauma, but
It is.
generational nonsense that gets passed down.
Yeah.
You see that a lot.
Yeah, family patterns. Yeah, you see it all the time. Again, you're not always aware of it because I think sometimes it depends how close you are to your grandparents. Or
Yeah.
like before then, obviously, the further along it is, the less you're going to know about them.
Yes.
It might just be anecdotes or
Yeah.
whatever. But quite often, like when you look at it, it is family patterns that come down.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be that each generation tries to be better than the one before,
Yeah.
but it's still not great,
Yeah.
but it's better than the one before. So
Yeah.
there is slight progress. You can kind of see if you do look at it in that kind of wider
Yeah.
lens. But I think we're just very fortunate in this day and age to have more knowledge on mental health and how things affect each
That's true.
generation and everything. They didn't have that back then.
No.
So,
No.
not to this extent anyway.
No. Yeah, I think when I'm I think I would probably if it was written down, if I could see it documented, the amount of times that I'm thinking about whatever I got from my parents and trying to pass that to my youngest daughter, for example, there'll probably be quite a lot of stuff.
I'm sure your parents did the same,
Yeah,
and their parents did the same, and
yeah,
so on.
yeah, yeah. Because you do get a lot of occasions where, as a family unit with my parents, we would obviously have our routines and everything. But then when my grandparents came round, obviously we had to be way smarter and be way more polite and talk nicer and everything else, right?
Yeah.
Because my mum, for example, had the pressure of her parents coming over, so it kind of got passed down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there was anything there that was traumatic. Not that I know yet.
No, but I think it's also remembering, maybe even thinking about like how you are with your parents, and then how your kids have relationships with with their grandparents or your parents. Like how your relationship with your parents when you were growing up is probably different from the relationship you have with them now, because you've grown up, you've moved out, you don't live with them anymore, you don't see them as often.
Yep.
Things have changed. So your kids aren't going to see maybe struggles that you had
Right.
when you were younger
Right.
with your parents.
Yeah.
Because you've outgrown those. But it doesn't mean that those things don't still have an impact on you now.
Yeah.
And it's the same for like you and your parents and your grandparents.
Yeah.
So just because you can't see it doesn't mean that there's not still things that linger from their childhoods.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I hope you can follow that. That was a bit
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. That's good. All right. So my next question is, what sort of traits do you see in people, common traits, that you know or suspect come from trauma? What is the trauma that's hiding in plain sight?
Oh, there's so many things. People not wanting to deal with feelings, so like avoidance,
Yep.
anxiety in any form. How you communicate or how you don't communicate. There's like so many different things.
So why would somebody not? Because women always complain that men don't communicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why is that? Why do men not communicate?
It's a tough one because I don't know whether it's like a biological thing that men just are different in that way.
Not necessarily a trauma thing, but
no, it can be a trauma thing because it depends on how like their feelings were seen.
Yeah.
Like growing up, like it wasn't just a case of you just need to deal with yourself and
Yeah.
don't talk to me about feelings because
don't want to hear it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then they're taught, okay, well I will never talk about my feelings then. And
Yeah.
I won't deal with them because I don't know how. So I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Do you suspect that that's how a lot of men were raised?
Especially like previous generations.
Yeah.
There's always been like a massive lack of mental health support with men.
Yeah.
Again, it's very different now. There's a lot more than there was.
Yeah.
But there's always a big stigma with men more than women. I think even like if you look back at like, I mean, I don't know, tribes and stuff, but like typically men will go out and they're a bit more isolated and individual,
Right.
whereas like women will be like together and they'll be nurturing and raising kids and whatever. Obviously, it'll be different depending on what
Yeah.
culture you're in and whatever, it might be different.
Yeah.
But typically, I guess that's the way it's been. So men are always the strong ones, whereas women are like the nurturers, more about feelings, emotions. So it's just unfortunately meant that men probably just aren't as in touch with their feelings as women are.
Yeah.
But women can help bring it out.
Yep. Yep. So I researched 3. Maybe you could comment on them.
Okay.
Traits. Hyper independence.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a traumatic response, do you think? I've got the definition as being inability to ask for help, framed as being self-sufficient or not wanting to burden anybody. You find these people, right? They're like, oh, I can't ask, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Just give Bob a call. No, I'm not going to ask Bob. You get a lot of people that just would sit and kind of suffer with something as opposed to doing something to solve a problem that's very easy.
Mm-hmm. That's probably me most of my life.
They don't want to be made to feel unsafe or do something that leads to perceived disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that come from?
It's maybe from a sense of feeling like they can't ask for help. So either that they've asked for help and they've always been rejected,
Right.
Or there's just not been the right people around them
Yeah.
to get that help from.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that someone said like, "Get away from me,"
Yeah.
like I can't help you.
Yeah.
But it's just that like their perception is that they can't get the help that they need.
Yeah.
So they've probably felt like they can only rely on themselves. Other people have all sorts of different things going on, and my problems are at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
Yours is a bigger priority than
Yeah.
mine, so I need to deal with myself.
Yeah. 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 I feel like that's quite common. Maybe all of this stuff is quite common.
I think it's fairly common.
Yeah.
But I think it's also very common in this type of society as well, though.
Right.
I think a lot of people like people pleasing. Like
Yeah.
you've always got to do everything for everyone else. But
Yeah.
there's not so much. Again, it's getting slightly different. But like the emphasis has always been on you always put other people first before yourself.
Yeah.
But that means that you're sacrificing your own needs for
Yeah.
other people. And
Yeah.
that's just people pleasing
Yeah.
all over.
And therefore everybody else's problems are more important.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about chronic busyness?
Mm-hmm.
Using perpetual motion to avoid sitting with uncomfortable feelings. I think we've probably touched on it. The person who can't take a holiday, can't be alone without their thoughts, always needs the next project.
Yeah. Well, that's avoiding all of their feelings.
Right.
Because if they sit and it's
They have
quiet,
to think about it.
then it will come.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no. I'm not going there. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go distract
We're
myself.
going to mow the
with something else.
lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when they need like noise or constantly watching something. They need constant stimulation.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, once it gets quiet, then it becomes quite a dark place, it feels.
Yeah. Yeah. The stuff they don't want to think about becomes the noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think we already touched on this one. Intellectualization. Analyzing feelings instead of feeling them. Very common in high achievers. I don't have this problem, but I understand why I'm like this becomes a substitute for actually processing anything.
Avoiding feelings.
Yeah.
A lot of it is avoidance.
Yeah.
Do you relate to those?
No.
No?
I'm pretty well rounded.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I had to do some research. I couldn't even look at myself, you know. And you maybe already touched on this, but fawning, the lesser known trauma response alongside fight, flight, or freeze. Automatically agreeing, appeasing, reading the room to manage other people's emotions, often mistaken for being easygoing or agreeable. That may be me.
Okay.
How do I fix that?
It's a trauma response. So it's
Is
hard to-
it? Great. Okay. Where did it come from?
I think it depends. If you're doing it, but you're not in that fight or flight,
Yeah.
like you're not in that like alarm system, like I'm doing this so I can get out of this situation because
Yeah.
I'm in something.
Yeah.
You can't really change that. It's just how your body's reacting.
Right.
And all you can do is like help yourself get out of that. But if you're not actually in that alarm state and you are just like generally quite agreeable, then that's something that you can, because that's not quite the same.
Right. So, you know, when a few people say this now, but like Jordan Peterson says, you've got to know when to be a monster. What does that mean? If I'm easygoing and agreeable, when do I know when to be a monster?
I think it's quite often the difference between nice and kind.
Yeah.
Being kind is when you're honest and you give the person what they need that's in front of you. So
Yeah.
that could be a compliment,
Yeah.
or it could be you give them like a bit of a reality check. 'cause
Home
they need
truth.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's being kind. You know, like how people say it can be cruel to be kind.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. Being nice is just being agreeable and just you're pandering to them.
Right.
In your head, you're like, they really shouldn't do this, but I'm just going to agree with them.
Yeah.
But then they might end up being in a really bad situation. So you weren't kind necessarily in that situation, but you were being nice.
Right.
So kind of going back to what Jordan Peterson was saying, like it's knowing when to be a monster. It's just knowing when you need to be that honest. It might hurt them,
Yeah.
but it's
The right thing to do.
yeah, it's like the best thing for them.
Yeah.
They might not get it. They might not understand in that moment. Like they might be quite offended, or
Yeah.
might not like what you say, and it might cause a rift between you and like pull you apart a bit. But in the long run, maybe they'll understand. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's probably what it's getting at.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. What about this one? Back to parents. I can't even pronounce parentification hangover. Adults who were the emotional caretaker for their parents as children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're siblings. That's what you mean? So they were
Adults,
parenting.
when they were children, they were caretaking their parents
yeah.
and have grown up with that
Yeah.
dynamic. That must be fairly. Do you see that a lot? Because
Yeah.
that must be fairly common as well, right?
I see it quite like a fair bit. I don't know actually. I don't know if I just see it a lot because of the work that I do and the people that will come to me. Or
Yeah.
whether that is like a true
Right.
definition of everyone that's out there. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah. No, I mean in your world.
in my world, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you'll have parents that have lots of trauma, like whether they've been through abusive situations or they've got PTSD because of a certain experience, or like it doesn't have to necessarily be from their childhood, but just they're dealing with something and they can't cope with it.
Yeah.
And then they can't be the parent for their kids, so then the kids have to look after them.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't always have to be physically that they look after them, but like mentally, maybe the kids have to be wary of how their parents are feeling. Whether it's that, I don't know, maybe they've got an alcoholic dad that if you say the wrong thing to them, then they'll get really violent, for
Yeah.
example. Then the kid's going to learn, okay, I need to make sure that they're okay so that I'm safe, or my siblings are safe, or my mum's safe.
Right.
Or they might have like a very depressed mum, or like super anxious mum that can't cope with life
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
So then again, they've got to manage their feelings and to make sure that everyone else is safe, or they're safe, or
Yeah.
that mum's safe and she's not going to do anything to herself. And
Yeah.
there's all sorts of different ways. It can be physical, it can be emotional.
Yeah.
But then it means that they've never really been able to be a child themselves.
Right.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
A lot of
Something
resentment.
gets taken.
Yeah.
Something is replaced by having to be in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of resentment grows from that.
Yeah.
Either they grow up and they continue to be that for
Yeah.
everyone around them,
Yeah.
or they have a lot of resentment and they don't want to do that with anyone anymore. So
Right.
sometimes you'll see that like these types of people never want to have kids because it's
Right.
like, well, I've done this my whole life. I want to just look after me now.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of ways that they can go after that, but
Yeah.
it's a really big thing though.
Yeah. I'm pretty certain this must happen a lot, considering the amount of marriages that break down, especially when kids are young. But like if two parents separate or even just fall out, there's all of that sort of subconscious, how do I describe it? You know, you start saying things to your kid to try and make a point against your partner.
Yeah.
So then this kid grows up with believing the right thing to do is to have this animosity towards their other parent. And I guess there are some extreme versions of that where a boy might grow up with thinking that sort of anything masculine or anything like their father is bad because that's what mum's always told me.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess the similar sort of things if a girl is growing up. But that must be rife, right? Those kind of problems.
Yeah.
Especially as the kids grow up.
Yeah. So like the example you gave, so like the son will be on the mum's side and then be like, I don't want to be anything like my dad because XYZ, he did this to my mum. And that can also be quite hard for their own identity because if they feel like they look like them or like they can see parts of them or parts of their dad in them or the opposite or whatever, and then they can start to hate themselves because they hate this other person. So that can be really tough. But also it can cause problems in the sense of they feel in between all the time, that they've always got to mediate. So it's not even necessarily that they hate the other person, like the other parent.
I guess that's worse, isn't it? If you always feel like you'd...
Yeah, and it also kind of links back into the parentification thing too. Because like if you've got one parent that's especially if they're quite young when they're doing it, and they're offloading all of this stuff, like telling all the gruesome details about what what the other parent's done. They're like, oh, well, now I've got to manage everything for this parent that's telling me everything. And I need to protect them against this other person. And like, it becomes this really, really messy, damaging thing. And again, they could continue doing that. They will put other people's feelings before themselves. And that's where like the hyper independence can come in. And a lot of it can link together and it can become very messy.
So I guess the opposite problem, next question is, why do you think there's so much resistance for some families to let kids go and be independent? Why does that feel such a tough thing to do? Why is it not more of a natural evolution of your life that at some point your kids will go and do whatever they want to do ultimately?
Their own, again, I think there's a lot of reasons. But I think one of them is like their own identity. It's like if their whole identity is about being a parent. So their whole value is in this child. Or now an adult. They don't know what their purpose or function is if they're not looking after someone or something.
Right. every mother feels that though, right? For a period of time, a long period of time,
Yeah.
they're not really thinking about anything else other than being a mother, and like every facet of what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. But why, you meet some people that are very laid back about not I guess relatively a smaller number, but they're quite laid back about the fact that their kids go off and do this, that, and the other. I mean, sometimes people tell me things their kids have done, and I think I'd be freaking out if I just, and then sometimes I hear people, they take their kid to university on day one and then they're just like heartbroken for weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
So obviously somewhere in there is, the average is probably the best way to do it. Obviously it is tough, but it is a part of life.
Yeah.
So what causes somebody just to never get over that and just like harbor all of this resentment for the fact that your kids have grown up?
Because they've got nothing else. I think that there's obviously that motherly instinct of like being like their child's sole everything for a long time.
Yeah.
And like being really maternal in that way.
Yeah.
But they might also have lots of other, like they don't forget who they are before.
Right.
So they might still have hobbies and they've still got like their other friends and they've got good connections with family and they've got they've got a full life.
Yeah.
Full of other things that isn't just their child. The child is a big part of it.
Yeah.
But they've got other things.
Yeah.
Whereas if the child is all that they have, they don't do anything else bar look after this child, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for them to let go of them. Because otherwise, if they go, then I'm left with nothing. What have I got to do?
Yeah.
What is my purpose?
Yeah.
But it can be that, but it can also be sometimes that they're just very anxious people and they want to wrap their kids in bubble wrap.
Cotton wool.
Cotton wool.
Cotton wool would be nicer.
Yeah. Warmer.
Yeah. Yeah. Softer.
Yeah. So they just want to protect them.
Yeah.
So it can be for different reasons, but it's just knowing that you can't, you've got to let your kids learn.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes they just want them to just do this, just do that. They want to control everything.
Yeah.
Best intentions, but it's not helpful at all. Because otherwise if they don't learn anything, then they don't know how to cope in life. So.
Right. And do you think this is a problem that manifests more when people have kids too young? Because they haven't really had much life to do anything else.
I don't know. I don't think age really matters, to be honest. I think it just depends on what type of person you are.
Yeah.
And maybe even like what kind of childhood you've had yourself.
Yeah.
It's like if you've grown up with like a very attentive parents and they've done everything for you, then you might be similar.
Right.
Or if you've been through particular things in your life that's been quite scary, and you're like you say to yourself, I never want my kids to go through that.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get over protective with that.
Right.
So yeah, again, there's lots of reasons.
Yeah. All right. So next question is, why do some people, and I feel I've met people like this, and maybe sometimes I have been this person, keeping things at 80%. I feel like this is very common. Never fully committing to, a relationship or a project or a location, always one foot out of the door.
Mm-hmm.
And you justify it by saying, I'm just keeping my options open. I'm always keeping options open. But you actually fear, being, or the sense of being trapped or commitment or, fearing the risk of disappointment. What causes that?
I feel like all of these questions, it's always lots of things. It could be anything. I think it's just like their experience of what does committing to something mean. Like, have you ever felt like you've been stuck in a situation that you can't get out of? if you have, then it's like, well, I don't want to be in that situation again, so I need to make sure there's always an exit.
Right.
The truth is
So
that
likely somebody has been trapped in something
yeah,
and they've just...
or being forced to do something that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Or the truth is that you're never fully trapped in something.
Yeah.
There's always an exit for anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything.
Yeah.
You can still fully commit to something and say, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a plan that's like way in the future and I'll commit to that or whatever. Like you can make these full commitments and you can change your mind at some point. Most people will be okay with that. Some people won't like if you change your mind, but also why does it matter if they aren't satisfied with that?
Yeah.
Like, are they going to force you? Especially if you're an adult. Like, are they going to force you into doing whatever it is?
Yeah.
Unless there's like a real danger, like a physical, like they're going to beat you up if you don't, if you don't do it, then that's one thing. But then you can deal with that in a different way.
Yep.
But if it's just that they're not going to like you and they're not going to work with you again or whatever, you got to weigh up the consequences of that.
Yeah.
But why is it that you can't commit? Like, is it because you don't want someone to not like you, or is it because you just don't want to say, yes, 100%, I'm going to do that and stick to that?
Right.
So I think it all depends on like what the reason is.
Yeah.
A lot of it's from anxiety. It looks like very kind of avoidant, but there's a lot of anxiety behind it.
Yeah. And why do you think some people like to sabotage something when it gets close to a milestone? Sabotaging things before they can fail naturally, so at least the failure was on your terms.
It's control.
Right.
It's control, and it's so that, they can say, well, I quit, not I failed.
Yep. Right.
So I chose to not do that, or I chose to leave, or to not complete, or whatever. Oh yeah, no, it's just because it wasn't for me, or like it just didn't work out because I just, what's the point? And compared to, oh, I tried my best and it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So therefore, I have no worth.
But people don't like to admit that. People don't like to say that or admit that, do they?
No. Success is a big thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Failing is not okay for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you have to fail to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's obviously very true. But it's still not one of those concepts that's sort of very pervasive in society, is it? Not in the UK anyway. In the US, it's a little more normal.
Yeah.
But I remember my dad telling me about this bloke that he used to work with, and every time they talked about something where somebody, came up that somebody achieved something, the guy was always like, I could have done that, but I chose to be doing this instead. I could have done that, but I didn't want to in the end, and
it's a lot of could'ves.
Yeah. I could have been Prime Minister, but I chose being a field electrician instead.
Yeah. So it's kind of saying like, I think that's more disappointing though to hear that, because like as someone like on the outside hearing that, I could have. So you're saying that you've got the intellect, and you've got the ability to do that.
Yeah,
you've not tried.
You just didn't. Yeah,
so that's actually more disappointing because you didn't even try.
Yeah.
I saw something the other day. I'm going to butcher how it was written because it was definitely better than what I'm going to say. But it was basically talking about like there's people that don't necessarily have the plans all thought out, but like they just go and do. They try like loads of different things, and like they'll eventually get to where they want to go. But then you've also got other people that like they have these dreams, but they never do anything with them because they're scared of failing, so then they just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Compared to these other people, like while this person this anxious person is like thinking, oh, like, I don't know, because da, 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 like thinking of all these excuses of why they can't do something or trying to figure out exactly the perfect plan to get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
Fail safe
Yeah.
way. This person's already done it and tried like 20 different times,
Yeah.
20 different ways to get to where they
Yeah.
want to be. Like they're well on their way.
Yeah.
So it's just, you've got to, failing is learning.
Yeah.
The only way you truly fail is when you give up.
Yep.
So you can stop doing something because it doesn't work, and you work out that actually I truly don't want to do this. I've
Yeah.
tried, I have tried, but actually I don't think this actually is me. I don't think this is what I want to do. That's
Have you
fine.
tried to do something that's what's your biggest failure?
My biggest failure. I don't know, because I feel like the biggest risk I took was starting this business,
Yep.
like my counselling business. And it felt like I was failing at that for a while. And I questioned whether like it was something that like, do I get a part-time job while I like, is this something that I like continue doing or not? Like
Yeah.
I'm not making any money,
Yeah.
I'm not getting any clients, like I don't know
Yeah.
where I'm going. This was all in like the first couple of months of me starting it, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be that way.
Yeah.
But then I just kept going.
Yeah.
So I feel like the biggest risk I took is paying off.
Yep.
I think if I was to like stay working in like to be like being employed, then I feel like that would have been more of a failure for me
Yeah.
than what I'm doing now. So
Yeah.
that just wasn't who I was. What's your biggest failure?
I mean, I feel like I start a lot of things and give up. And I think it's evident that there's way more joy in starting something than figuring out how to keep going.
There's a lot more excitement in starting something.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
it's like fresh and new.
Yeah.
I think I'm quite guilty of that too, to be fair. Lots
Yeah.
of ideas. And I can like get really passionate into like starting it, but then it becomes, oh, now I've got to do things that isn't quite so exciting. and
Yeah.
now I've lost all interest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's an easy trap. I think a lot of people do that as well. And
But again, at least like you're starting something. You might not go anywhere, but
yeah, I mean, and I always feel like I learn something about it, whatever it is. I think Alex Hormozy described this as like 5 stages, and you're uninformed optimism at the start, where you just want to dive into something, and then you start to become informed and realize how difficult it is, you know. And it's kind of like you kind of descends, and you've really got to fight to get to the top of the next hill, because that's where you're sort of in this informed state, and you know the reality of it, and you're still doing it. So you're in the best position to be able to continue. But yeah, I don't know if I class them as failures, because I feel like I always get something out of it.
Yeah.
And
Maybe it's the wrong word.
yeah. Let's just change the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it isn't. It's just experiencing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're having different experiences. You're
Yeah.
starting something, you're learning something. You might not continue it, but you've learned something, which you'll only take that into your next thing or
Yeah.
something later. It's all useful.
Yeah. Okay, so last question. Going back to parental stuff, Jordan Peterson talks about the Oedipal mother who can't let go.
Yeah.
And I think it's Carl Jung's quote. And the mother says, "I'll give you everything, but you can never leave." And I think he says that there's he sees a lot of people in practice that, grown men with their own families just still completely trapped. is that something you see
I think
a lot, or
I don't think I see it that much in my male clients necessarily. I mean, there might be, but they don't talk about it.
right for another reason?
But I think I have seen it through some of like my female clients, for example,
Right.
or like their partners, of how maybe they feel quite pushed out because their mother is like their mother-in-law is very overbearing,
Yeah.
wants to keep their son close, and
Yeah.
if it gets a bit messy as well when they've got kids together,
Yeah.
and they want to keep the grandkids close too,
Yeah.
and then they're kind of pushing out
Yeah.
the mum or the
Yeah.
partner or whatever. So it becomes it is a big thing,
Yeah.
and the guy doesn't always know either. Sometimes they're aware, and there's usually a lot of issues that come from it. Normally pretty anxious people. They also don't know how to deal with feelings at all. They don't know how to deal with conflict.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, like those sorts of mother figures, like it's their way or no way.
Yeah.
So they're not taught how to regulate their own feelings or talk about feelings. Conflict is always very sharp, like with the mum.
Yeah.
So conflict is always dangerous.
Yeah.
So then it just creates a whole like messy situation for their
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah. Okay, so if you were in a room with two brand new parents, you've got a minute to give them some bullet points, the blueprint for how best to raise the kid. What sort of things are on that list? Because they've got a huge task ahead, and they can trip up,
Yeah.
and probably will trip up several times a day for 18 years.
Yeah. You're never going to be perfect.
Yep.
There's always going to be ways that you're going to quote unquote mess up your kids. Like, and that's okay because that's also how they learn.
Yep.
But as long as you do your best, you don't try to hurt them in any way. You try and have like an age appropriate, honest relationship with them.
Yeah. That's a good one. You mean don't baby them when they're older?
Yeah. It's like it's allowing them to, so it's allowing them to see your emotion, not making it their problem.
Yeah.
But like so they can see how you regulate.
Yeah.
So then they know it's okay to cry. It's okay to get angry. But
Yeah.
also there's a way that you can work through it.
Yeah.
Same with arguments with your partner. Like
Yeah.
it's okay for them to see conflict, but then also see healthy. So if you are going to argue in front of them, don't then make up away from them. Because otherwise
Right.
all they're seeing is mum and dad argue
Yeah.
and then there's no resolution.
Yeah.
So then conflict's not great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's having that honest
Yeah. Yeah.
thing
Balance.
around them. Let them learn. Let them get hurt every now and then.
Yeah.
Like you want to protect them, but also like it's okay for them to work something out themselves.
Yeah.
You can teach them, but it's not the cotton wool.
Yeah.
They don't always need to be in that.
Yeah.
It's a hard one though. Parenting is one of the hardest things. I mean,
Impossible.
I'm not a parent, so there's only so much that advice I can give, but I can just go off of what I go through with my clients and
Yeah.
childhood stuff that we talk about. But,
Yeah.
it's a hard thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't try to be perfect. Take accountability also, that's a big thing.
Great. Thank you very much. I've learned a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode of Rachel & Co. It's been a great episode to film, so I hope that you've enjoyed and learnt lots. You can go reflect on what we've talked about. If you've got any questions from today's episode, then feel free to comment down below. Or on Instagram, any reels that I post, anything that you feel relevant, go head over there. If you want to continue to follow me, I'm on Instagram, Rachel Shaw Therapy. I'm on TikTok, Rachel and Co Podcast, and same on YouTube. So yeah, take a look and see you next time. Like, share, subscribe, all the things. I'll see you next time. Bye.